Thanks for listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast. I'm your host, Mike Luke, joined by the great Jason Shearer. We have Jacob Franklin behind the scenes to get to a question first. Built-in 71 says, no, this is not the new time slot, just while we have football. Yes, G-Rod, good seeing you out of practice today, my friend. Very, very good. All right, we got a lot to get to. We're going to talk about Arizona football's ranking. Is it a little bit too low? I say yes. I do say yes. And I have a bone to pick with Jacob Franklin. We talked about this at practice today. Not good news from Mr. Jacob Franklin, and a ton of different things. But first, Sheer at practice today, there were some explosive plays. Our guy Fam looked pretty good. Montana Lamonius Craig, maybe he was listening to the show and he decided that he was going to show some explosion as well. Jeremiah Patterson, much more of the same. Sheer, there's a lot of explosive options on this team.
Practice was fun today. It was one of the few days so far where the offense looked really good. It was moving the ball. Speedy Luke had the ridiculous play, the run. The thing with him is once he gets out in the open field, it's over. You're done.
Right.
And so that happened. We saw that happen. But yeah, the one-on-ones, Montana, probably his best day there. Just a fun day of practice.
A very fun day of practice. Yes. Now we're going to talk about Arizona's ranking, but first, I was telling you about this at practice today. Jacob Franklin is a snitch. He is not someone to be trusted here behind the scenes. So here's the deal. I was planning on bringing a Del Taco cheeseburger to Jacob Franklin, to the PHNX party, and Jacob Franklin outed me. Jacob Franklin told people that this was going to occur, and then I got slapped around saying I couldn't bring it. We blame Jacob Franklin for this. Do not trust him anymore.
Why can't you bring it?
Because again, they said it would upset the tenor of the party and all of this stuff. Yeah, I don't get it either. Jacob Franklin, instead of the great Jacob Franklin, he is the snitch Jacob Franklin.
I will tell you this, Jacob, I know you're listening. Michael was very somber at practice today, and he wouldn't even talk about it. This is the first I've heard about this, and I am not happy.
Yeah, we are not happy at all about this. We will get back to this. Okay, now let's talk about. Oh, I don't care. Oh, look at Jacob Franklin. Throw it in the. Oh gosh, we'll address this at some point. Okay, now let's talk about Arizona football and where I think it's time to fire Jacob Franklin. Yes. Okay, now let's talk about Arizona football. Sheer, they come in at 21. I believe, and I was talking with Spears about this, I believe this is about 5 or 6 spots too low. I know with Arizona football, we can't necessarily have good things and we shouldn't expect this and that. I still believe that it's a little bit too low, Sheer. This feels to me more like a team that should be around 14 or 15.
Are we talking how you think they'll finish or like right now going into the season?
Oh.
Sure. I'm okay with it right now. I get it. How people are just looking at. You got to remember, like people aren't in the streets. They're not out in the practice.
Yeah, but they should know better though,
right? So they don't know. They see, oh, they lost Ephesians Pricelock and Jonah Coleman. Oh no, they don't realize. Yeah, they replace those guys pretty well. So I'm cool with it. Now, do I think that Arizona right now, based on what I've seen during practice, is better than the 21st? Team in the country? Yes, but I don't necessarily blame the coaches poll or whatever.
Well, I do
remember that's the coaches poll. They don't know they're
No, I do.
People will see.
Arizona's got a top 5 quarterback in the nation coming back. You got 4 offensive linemen returning.
Coaches poll. What do you think Jed put Arizona?
Oh,
look this up.
Jed either put Arizona at 1 to give credit to himself, or he had him unranked. There's no in between. Can you look that up, by the way? That's a good question.
I don't think it's public yet. Let me see. But I'm going to see. All
right.
You keep talking. You look pretty, and I'm going to see.
I will keep talking. But Arizona, I believe, first of all, offensively, we've talked about this before. I believe that this should be a top 10 unit in the entire country. I have very few questions about this team. I also believe that with Big Rhino in there, that and we're going to get to him again, he's looked very nice at that left tackle spot. If that comes to play, I think with the running backs, the tight ends, the wide receivers, and defensively, I think this team is going to be better, period, than people think. I think it's going to be a top 4 defensive unit in the entire Big 12. That to me is closer to about top 15 than let's say 21. I believe we're still underrated.
That's fine. Like I'm not like, I don't disagree with you. I'm just not super upset about it. Like, it's fine. They're 21, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think they're better, but your average coach, they don't do the poll, and B, they don't care. That's why the coaches poll is always so stupid. I'm more curious about the AP poll. That's the one. If they're ranked 21st in the AP poll, and I think they're probably going to be close, we'll see. I think that comes out next week.
All right. Now, Bob Wade says, Bob Wade, also a great wide receiver coach here at the U of A. Is the main issue for beating a Utah and Kansas State ball control, which means our line has to be dominant, and perhaps the 2 tight end sets as well? It's an interesting question there, Sheer.
First off, the poll comes out Monday, so we'll talk about it on Monday. It's just, honestly, it's just going on the road. I think that's the main issue. Like, I think Kansas State and Utah are good. I don't think ball control is the main issue. I don't think you want to get into the ball control game with them. I think you want to go out and make them change their strategies.
I want Arizona. I'm going to just put this out there. I want Arizona to be scoring something. I want Arizona to be scoring 40 plus points per game. Now, again, it's not going to always happen. I get all that, but I want Arizona. Arizona's got better weapons than most teams in the country. I want Arizona to be scoring a lot of points, Skier.
And I'll say this for those 2 games. I think Arizona fans, and I'm not saying Arizona's going to win both those games. I think they go 1-1 though. Arizona fans should be ecstatic. That's early in the season. I think if you want to catch Utah, history shows you want to catch Utah early. You don't want to be playing them in late November in the cold and all that. Kansas State, I like Kansas State. I think they're good, but that'll still only be Avery Johnson's 3rd career start.
Right.
So, like, you want to catch those teams early in the season. There's no reason why Arizona shouldn't be putting up points in bunches.
I would definitely agree with that. Now, I do want to, let's see here. Steve Hernandez says, Mike, does Colorado scare you this season? No, they don't.
Nothing scares Mike, first of all.
Nothing scares me. I say bring on all comers. Nothing scares me. Joking aside, no. I believe Arizona should be better than Colorado. I think Colorado is going to be an absolute mess. Here's what's going to happen. Colorado's going to lose a game or 2, and they're going to start, pointing fingers. Dion's going to send people in to start slapping players around and stuff, and then deny it. I am not big on Colorado at all.
I don't think there's an in-between with Colorado. Like, I think they're going to be really, really bad, but they're very talented. Like, there's a chance that things all go well and they win 9 games. I really believe that. I lean more towards it exploding, right? Like, Colorado's not going 6-6. They won't. It's going to be like 3-8 or 9-3, or there won't be an in between. It's going to go really good or really bad. Like, there's talent on that team.
There's a lot of talent, but people also don't know that they hired me as that video editor to be able to show those highlights on the on Twitter yesterday. That was very, very bad.
That thing is insane, especially because it was a real catch that was made and they just cut it off to be awful.
Yeah, no, exactly. All right, now let's get back to the running backs here for a second.
Mike, they're interviewing. They just broke. Sorry, they're interviewing presidents for the U of A. This is it. We're getting one step closer.
Ooh, hey, does Bobby Robbins sit in on that?
No.
I'd certainly hope not.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, no. Can you imagine? All right, now let me ask you this: what is Arizona's upside this season? When we look at it, and again, I know I've tried to get you to say that Arizona can win the national championship. You will not say that. You will not go that far. But joking aside, if everything goes right and Jason Scheer looks at it, what is Arizona's upside from a ranking, from a college football playoff perspective, all of that and more? What is Arizona's upside?
Winning the Big 12, 10 wins, and a playoff win.
All right. So you're looking at a
top playoff win, a win in the playoff. Let me clarify that.
Could I get you to say multiple wins?
No.
All right. So you're saying that Arizona peters out then at getting into the college football playoffs and maybe 1 win.
Yeah. Now, it's an interesting scenario. You almost want to be the 5 seed in the playoff.
Yeah.
Because if you're the 5 seed, you play the last seed, and then you go into an easier game as opposed to like a high, like an 8 or 9, or there's ways, So, yeah, and that's ceiling. That's a pretty damn good year, Mike. If you're about to tell me that I'm wrong,
no, I wasn't going to say you were wrong.
Winning the conference, 1 win in the college football playoffs,
All right, we need to address something, and we're going to talk about the newcomers and the instant impact. Oh, I thought that was Ted Wardo for a second. We need to we're going to talk about the instant impact players coming in. But one thing that I do not understand, and your board is doing this left and right. Well, not left and right. There's like two people saying it. Jeremiah Patterson. I do not care that he is a 2-star JUCO player. JUCO is not like that is far from an exact science. If you go out to practice, you just see it. You just tell again. I'm not saying that he's going to be Jacob Cowing. I do think that it's a little bit, I do think there's an interesting comparison there. But Shearer, can we please stop with this 2-star junior college stuff? Watch him. That's all I ask.
I posted this on the boards, and again, it's not directed at one person because there's multiple.
No, it's directed
people.
at 2.
Right. I don't care what he was ranked 2 weeks ago. I've seen him practice.
Yes.
The people that are talking about him being a 2-star, to put it bluntly, are not at practice. Right. The media members have all said, holy crap to this dude. Bobby Wade said this guy can get even better. You came to practice the other day. The first play that happened was he blew past Owen Goss in one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Today you come to practice, and 2 minutes later, he embarrasses Gunnar Maldonado in one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Right? There isn't a dude on the team, including Dakario Davis, that can cover him in open space. Now, the key is during a game, getting him in open space. One-on-ones is a very different deal. But this isn't some random-ass JUCO receiver who's not good. This dude is good enough to play. I would be shocked if he was a non-factor on this offense.
We have seen receivers who are not good enough to contribute. This is true. We have seen many receivers. Remember Anthony Johnson?
Anthony Johnson was the single greatest camp wide receiver I've ever seen.
And he did it for like 3 straight years.
This is different, though. Like, this is just different. You could just tell. And he's going to punt return. Like, that's not even a competition. It is Jeremiah Patterson, punt returner.
All right, now we've talked about Fam a lot, and the possibility. What do you do with Fam this year? I don't think he's going to redshirt. I think that he's going to. I think they're going to use him. I think they want to get him on the field. I think they're going to be using him in the return game as well. But here's my big concern. I want Fam to be able to get 10 touches a game. Can we make this happen?
Yeah, he won't get 10 carries, but I think he gets 10 touches. He's gonna return kicks. You're saying Arizona's gonna average 42 points a game. So that's 5 touches right there. Right. 7 touches, right? And then yeah, I think he is absolutely going to be a part of the passing game. I don't expect him. It goes back to the previous coaching staff. Who's the dude on UCLA that used to get like Demetric Felton?
Yeah.
I think you use him like that. You get 5 to 7 carries a game. You get 3 to 4 receptions, and you return kicks, and you make an explosive play here and there.
Why are you guys against my DeAnthony Thomas comparison? I think that's a better one.
Because I need to see it, Mike. Like, DeAnthony Thomas was a freak.
Well, I know, but...
Are you talking about in terms of speed?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying...
DeAnthony Thomas in the open field was, like, as good as it gets.
Well, you're saying that Fam isn't?
I think Fam's good, but you always say, like, I want to see it. DeAnthony Thomas was a monster.
Well, yeah, all right, fine. Shear's not a big fan of Fam. I am a big fan of Fam.
DeAnthony Thomas was, I think in terms of role, that's cool, right? Like his best season, like 46 catches, 600 yards, 9 touchdowns, 600 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. I mean, come on.
All right, fine. G-Rod says, is Riley injured or hurt? He left practice early and went to the sidelines, Shear.
No, he was just, he never practiced today. He was a day off. I don't think he's that hurt. What we're seeing is they're kind of rotating guys with off days. Riley was on the sidelines. He didn't have a boot. He wasn't rehabbing or anything like that. I would expect him to be back tomorrow. They've done that here and there with a couple guys, veteran guys. Like Genesis Smith was out completely yesterday, was in street clothes, and then today he full practice. So I just think they're kind of making sure certain guys stay healthy.
All right, that's exactly. Now, we've talked about it again, and guess what? We're going to keep talking about it. The tight end room. It is an embarrassment of riches. And joking aside, I've never seen a tight end room this deep. You've got guys that, and we're going to keep talking about this. I do not care what anybody says. You have got dudes, you got 5-6 dudes that can play. You can tell by looking at them. You can tell by watching them practice. They can all play. It's going to be very interesting to see what this coaching staff is going to do, how they're going to divvy this all up, because you got a lot of mouths to feed in this tight end room here, Skier.
Yeah. So one of the plays of practice that we saw was towards the end where Noah was running right and off one leg, and we'll talk to Noah about Noah in a second because I want to bring something up. Threw it to Sam Olsen, who made an awesome catch. And then in one-on-ones, Dorian Thomas beat Gunner over the top when Gunner was all over him. And then Keon Burnett had a missed catch. Had a missed catch that was ridiculous, right? He missed it, but you saw it too. It's like, he came damn close to a ball he had no business coming close to. Then you see Miranda catch a pass on an out pattern. And all of a sudden you realize that they have 5 tight ends that can play right now.
Yes. And they're all big too. None of them are Smurfs. We're not putting out guys that are slow wide receivers. They're all big. I want to ask you again about Keon Burnett. Keon Burnett, barring injury, 3 years from now, is he in the NFL?
Yeah. Because I will say this. I need to see him produce this year.
Right? Agree.
And you agree. Like, this is his year. He has to produce. But when you look at him, he just totally looks the part. He's got great size. He's getting better at blocking. He can be a wide receiver or a tight end. He's super athletic. Like, he looks what you want your tight end to look like. Now we just need to see it on the field.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see it now. I will caution. I don't know that you're going to see a T-Mac type one where one emerges. I can see a bunch of dudes that are around 350 yards, 4 or 5 touchdowns. I think that when you look at it, because you got a bunch of seniors this year. Obviously, you got Miranda, you got Olsen. Excuse me. And I think Keon really shows that he can play this year. And then I think next year he really emerges as that dude. I am very excited to see what he can do. He has been very, very good. Also, Wendell Moy was back. We are happy to see Wendell Moy out there, Jason Shear.
Yeah, he's been doing the individual drills and then they stopped during team. Today was the first time they let him do team. He looked fine. We asked him after because we talked to him. And he said if the game was tomorrow, he'd play. It's just some soft tissue stuff, and they're being careful.
Yeah, I deal with soft tissue stuff all the time, and I'm able to fight through it. So, again.
You're disgusting. Before we move on, there's something I just said I wanted to bring up that I have been surprised on. Brody's very excited.
Yeah.
I know Noah Fafita can throw the ball, but like Lev just tweeted this too. I don't know if it was a Jetfish thing. I don't know if it was an improvement in the offseason. His arm strength is better. He's showing it off way more than he did at any point in any camp last year. That throw he made, literally rolling to his right off one leg, and he threw it 50 yards in the air.
Yes. I mean, he's I'm telling you, man, he's going to be a monster. We talked about this. Noah Fafita is my all-time best call, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
I mean, he had the pass today. I think it was to Chris Hunter where he split 2 defenders. It was a rocket, hit him right in the hands. Like he's been awesome.
We got to talk Brayden Dorman here in a second. I also got to give our friend of the program a shout out. But first, Sanderson Ford, my friends. You might say to yourself, Mike, Sanderson Ford, they must have some really good stuff going on. They do have some really good stuff going on. Here's the deal with Sanderson Ford is that, all right, you might say, man, that's probably the best car dealership in all of Arizona. They have all kinds of vehicles. They have vehicles for people like Jacob Franklin, the snitch Jacob Franklin, who is 7 feet, but is able to get into any car. Or they have things for me and Sheer as well. That's very much what we like. You can give 0% for 36 months OAC from Ford Credit. See dealer for details. Hey, Sheer, you like this. You're a big fan of eating. There's a restaurant on site called the Starliner Diner.
Wow. At a car dealership?
Yep, at a car dealership. That is how good it is. Sanderson Ford is family owned and operated through 3 generations. Here's the deal. You can get 0% financing for 36 months with no payments for 90 days on your Ford F-150 Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition. How cool would Sheer look if he was Sheer in a Ford F-150? Yes, please. Hide the women.
You can't get more manlier than me in an F-150.
Yes, that is exactly where it is. So again, check it out. Sanderson Ford, another one of these ones. You will thank me later, ladies and gentlemen. You will thank me later. Okay, now, one other one. Shady Rays. Shady Rays. Jacob
Big
Franklin,
crazy.
you have this picture.
Oh,
This
you
is
got it?
Yep. This is true. With at at practice today, both the bigwigs, both the SIDs, Jeff Bowe and Brett Gleason, the great Brett Gleason, they both had on Shady Rays. Jacob Franklin, if you will please pull up this picture now, we want to show you the Shady Rays movement and how this has permeated everything in Tucson, Arizona. I am going to go on record and say that maybe Jacob Franklin doesn't have this ready. Well, either way, check it out. Shady Rays, all kinds of really good stuff. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code use PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Jacob Franklin, please pull this picture up. We want to see this picture of well, all right. I guess he doesn't have it. Well, either
I think
way.
it's because you called him a snitch. I think he does have it. This is just our
We got a
punishment.
private chat here. Let's see here. Oh, forgot to do the photo. I'll do it now. All right, Jacob. Well, either way, let us know when it is in there. And oh, shoot, sorry. Let us know what it is in there, and we will get back to it. We want to show everybody about Shady Rays. Very, very cool. Okay, now. Trust me, we will be making fun of Jeff Sims. We will be talking about ASU as well. All right, now I don't want to go too far. Oh, do we have the Shady Rays picture in there as the oh, look at this, Brett Gleason. Look at that right there, Brett Gleason, the great Brett Gleason. All kinds of really good stuff. Look at that, Shady Rays. Look at those shades right there, Sheer.
Wow. Oh, man.
I literally went right up to Brett Gleason and I said, I'm going to take a picture of these. And he looked at me like I was a moron, which I guess I am. But yes, Shady Rays, check it out. And Jeff Bowe as well. Dope shades. Okay. Now, I want to talk about the instant impact contributors that Jeff Bowe, that I want to talk
about on the show. How do we do that?
Oh gosh, yes. I want to talk about the instant impact contributors that this Arizona football team that were brought in by Brent Brennan, because I think these are some players that we need to highlight, because remember, for the longest time they kept saying, "Oh, he doesn't have any players, this and that." All right. Let's talk about some of these instant impact players, because there's quite a few of them. The running back position, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt and Quali Conley. These guys both merit a lot of touches. They're very good.
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt a lot of that was good. Yeah, instant impact, both really good. I'd put them that combo up there with pretty much anyone. I feel great about Arizona's running back room.
Yes. All right. So they're two very nice. Now let's talk about Sam Olson from San Jose State. Sam Olson is good. Sam Olson is going to play. Sam Olson is, I think you could make the case he's about as good as anybody that's in the tight end room, Skier.
Yeah, it's going to be really funny because Sam Olson could absolutely be one of those guys that only catches like 13 passes this year because the room is so spread out, but like 6 of them are touchdowns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of those guys.
It's like NFL looks off like 12 catches.
Yeah, because he's good. And I will say, I think you can make a case. With Burnett's great also. Olson, they're using probably in the most amount of different ways, right? He's fullback, wide receiver, and tight end are 3 positions that he's lined up at.
Okay, now, so you got that, obviously. Now let's talk about Jeremiah Patterson, another one, Raymello Murphy as well. These are guys that are going to play as well. Again, both instant impact type guys. Jeremiah Patterson, I think I have a little bit higher expectations for. Not saying that Raymello Murphy isn't that dude, but again, 2 more guys that are going to be instant impact type guys.
They're both good. I have confidence in both. I think Raymello. I'm almost wondering if Raymello played today because I don't recall seeing him. And that I don't know if that's a knock there because like Riley, I didn't notice wasn't playing until either. Yeah, I mean, Patterson is a steal at this point. Mello, at the very least, is a very good rotational guy. There's nothing wrong with having him in your top 6. Yeah, again, it's a deep receiver room. And a good portion of that is because of Brent Brennan and Bobby Wade.
All right, now let's talk on the defensive side as well. We're going to count Chuba as somebody that came in with Brent Brennan because he had to sell Brent Brennan, or he had to sell Brent Brennan. Yeah, we count Chuba, plus he's going to be a huge culture fit for this team. Chuba, then you have Trey Smith. Both those guys starters. Both those guys Brent Brennan ones as well.
Trey Smith has had some really good practices the last week. I mean,
Right.
Really good. I think he has a tackle for loss in like the last 3 or 4 practices. He blew up a play today. He's good. I like him a lot. I'm not sure we're talking about him enough, to be honest.
All right, well, maybe we'll talk about him again in a second. And
that's actually a good question by Joseph, by the way. What would have happened if Arizona landed Elijah Badger?
I actually don't want Elijah Badger at this point. He didn't want to be here. We don't want him.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, would they have added Patterson? I don't think they would have added Patterson if they got Badger.
And honestly, I know that you and I have very differing opinions when it comes to Malachi Riley. You are a denier. I am a huge advocate.
I like Malachi Riley. He's had a very, very good camp.
But
the thing with Badger, I know Badger's really good, but he's also an injury waiting to happen.
Right. So, yes, he's an injury waiting to happen, and I don't want to bury Malachi Riley in all of this. I think that Malachi. What's that?
Your starting receivers are locked up. I know we talked about Patterson, but it's 100% going to be T-Mac, Riley, Montana, with Patterson, Hyatt as the next 2.
All right. Well, I don't like it, but it is what it is. I mean, they also don't seem to care what I say. I've tried to get them. I tried getting a job as an analyst today on the staff, and I was thrown away.
Real quick, you were shut down.
No, I went up to him and I said I would take an analyst job, and so there was none of that. So, and then obviously at the in the secondary, then that's also where it becomes interesting. You got Marquise Groves Killebrew, you've got Owen Goss. You've also, I mean, the 2 guys that I think are, especially Goss, that are going to play big stuff.
Yeah. Groves Killebrew is going to probably start, and he's a little bit more of a competition than I thought he might be in, but he's probably going to start, and Goss is going to play quite a bit. We go back to who's that Martell Irby guy, and everyone has said Goss, so he's absolutely going to play, and another 2 guys that are going to play quite a bit, whether they start or not.
When you consider it, Ben White made this point about plugging holes, and Ben White made this point, and he said, I thought it was an interesting point he made in our group text, where he said he's done an amazing job. And I got to give Ben White all the credit on this one, but he said that Brent Brennan really did an amazing job of plugging all these holes that you needed basically immediately after taking over. I mean, he did when you think about it, Shearer, he did an A+ job as far as plugging all the holes that you needed.
Yeah, I think the offseason he nailed it. He just
did.
He really did. He brought in dudes at positions of need. And I know everyone gets excited about recruiting rankings, and I do too, and all that. But a lot of times you simply need to, plug in holes, right? And that's what he did. He plugged in holes on the end, especially, and at receiver and defensive end. And, he did well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing about Ben White, being that he is in California, he's able to also kind of look at things from kind of a different perspective. And I thought there was an excellent point. We always want to give credit where credit is due. Ben White, thank you very much for that. We will take the credit for it. Now, with I got to give a shout out as well to somebody. I have been wrong on something on this show. I know it's hard to believe.
Whoa.
I know. Whoa. It's hard to believe. Mike Nitkowski, who is also on your boards, I believe he's AZ Fanatic. I have been calling Rhino for basically a year now. I've been saying that Rhino came in that class, the Bishop Alemany class, with Kevin Green and with
you're right.
Prysock. I was wrong. He did not come in. He came in the year after that. I do apologize. Nitkowski, you are much smarter than me. That is the Flowing Wells education coming to the forefront. I do apologize. But Rhino, though, joking aside, Rhino's been fantastic, though. Rhino has been kind of what I think everybody was hoping he would be. And you got to remember, too, if you go back and you look at Rhino, this isn't some dude like there's some putts on Twitter, the ASU guy, the real Mercked guy or whatever, who keeps talking about him like, he was like this walk-on or whatever. Rhino came in here with a lot of expectations. I think there were questions whether he was going to be a guard, whether he was going to be a tackle, whatever it was, but it seems like he's really settled in here, Skier.
It's funny because like and rightfully so, we said, oh, one of the biggest questions is left tackle and who's
You're
going to
right.
be it. He's a starter. He's been the starter since the first day of camp. He's going to be the starter for the first game. And this is a guy where, he wasn't ranked all that high. I think we had him as a 3-star. I'm looking right now. We had him as a 3-star, but Colorado, ASU, Indiana, Kansas, Louisville, Oregon State, San Diego State, SMU.
Exactly.
That's a pretty solid offer list. And that's what you look at. We always say, look at the offers, right? And this is a kid who he's never played a snap in a game. Okay. So we'll have to see. There's some skepticism there, but he looks just fine during practice. He looks like he the part for sure.
Let's talk about a little bit the comparison. And again, I do not want to say, I don't want to make any, I don't want to cast any aspersions here, because somebody like Michael Wooten would be able to pick me up with his pinky ring and throw me across the field. So again, to quote Harry Dunn in Dumb and Dumber when he's talking to Seabass, he said, "I would never do anything to offend a man of your size." Keep that in mind with what I'm about to say. But when you watch Wooten, when they try to put him at tackle, and you watch Rhino, it just looks different. And that's, again, Wooten you might just need a little bit of time. Wooten looks stiff, where Rhino doesn't.
Wooten is a little bit more raw than I thought he would be.
I agree. Yeah,
he's got to be taught technique, and he's not a lost cause because he's got the body and all that. But I mean, like, he stands too straight up at times. He's a little stiff in his movement. I think you can fix that. Unfortunately, he wasn't dressed today. I believe he has a sprained knee, which is better than what a lot of people thought it could have been. At the end of practice, I thought he completely blew out his knee. I heard this morning that it's more likely a sprain, which would be great, but he's probably going to be out the rest of camp. But yeah, I mean, Rhino is and I like his attitude. He met with the media today, and the team loves him. He plays his butt off. He cares. He's good.
He's a massive dude. There are some really big people on this team. I mean, and again, maybe let's see here. Big 12 Bobby says, is Dumb and Dumber in your all-time top 5? Absolutely.
It is his top 5.
Yeah. Dumb and Dumber and Borat are definitely two non-negotiable ones.
You should bring up the movie you brought up today, because I think that's a controversial one, because it's not good.
Oh, You, Me, and Dupree.
Yeah. You, Me, and Dupree is not good.
I watched You. I thought You, Me, and Dupree is great. The best part about You, and I can't get too far off subject here, I'll get in trouble. But the best part about You, Me, and Dupree is Michael Douglas hates his son-in-law so much that he spends half the movie trying to get him to get a vasectomy so he can't have any children. And he also tries to get his son-in-law to take his daughter's last name. Very good. All right. Now, LJ Wombology. He definitely knows somebody. LJ, were you at practice? Or
no, I wrote about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
yeah, it was funny because when the first we all joked that at least he was at Jared Small was at practice. I will say this. I know he's relatively new, Jared Small, but I don't see him being a contributor this year. I think there's a long way. Maybe that happens mid-season, but Kamu, Flo, those guys are way ahead of him right now.
All right, now we got to address Joseph. The great Joseph is always asking about. We actually talked about Joseph today at practice about Justin Flo. Sheer, tell Joseph again why you can't just put. And Joseph, you're smarter than me. We're just giving you a hard time. But with tell Joseph again why you can't just put Flo at defensive end. That's what he wants.
220 pounds, and I realize that Chase Kennedy is also 220 pounds, but they're built differently. And I'm not sure Chase Kennedy is the answer either, because he's too skinny.
Yeah.
Justin Flo will never play defensive end for Arizona.
And there was a guy in the staff that was telling me this a while back, and I thought it was an interesting point. He said, you got to remember this. He says, unless there is just something incredibly unique about somebody, when you're 225 pounds, whatever it is, and you get locked in with a defensive end, you are not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. And then you become useless defending the run as well. It sounds awesome in theory. I really, really like it, but just not, I don't see it. I do not see that one. Sheer, and you would agree with me. This is true.
Yeah, it's just, I would move on from it.
All right. We're going to make fun of AS. Yeah, no, Joseph, never move on for it, because again, I enjoy you going at Sheer. Just don't go at me, my friends. Okay. But also, Sheer, something that's very, very interesting. We have a new sponsor on the show. Big new.
Oh.
Rugged Road. Rugged
Whoa.
Road. Now, you might say to yourself, Mike, what in the world is Rugged Road? Well, again, thanks for asking. Guess what it is? Here, get ready for your summer adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Listen, when I go I go on road trips with Sheer never has coolers. He just puts everything in his big Polar Pop from Circle K. But sometimes that you can actually do that. Get ready for your summer adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code PHNX for 10% off your order. Lightweight, durable, and always floating upright. That was basically my mantra in high school. Perfect on land or in water. So leave that old heavy cooler at home and get yourself a better cooler for the new season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion. Sure, you have many people in your family. You should get one of these ones. And when the kids are acting up, say, listen, do you want to go into the Rugged Road cooler or do you want to get something out of it?
Yeah, we could try that. Brielle could probably fit in one of those. I'm in. I need a cooler.
Yeah. All right. Rugged Road. Check it out. Promo code PHNX for 10% off. I have it on good authority. Jacob Franklin has already bought 10 of these, if I'm not mistaken. So, and also FOCO. You might say, Mike Luke, you need to get some cool stuff. And you're right. I need a lot of cool stuff in my life. FOCO, though, is here to help. FOCO is saying, Mike, we can get you some stuff. FOCO always has our back for Arizona sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by visiting www.foco.com and use code PHNX for all non-presale items. Use the promo code PHNX10 for 10% off. Sheer, our guy Brandon Sanders, he walks. Have you ever seen him with the straw hat that he's
walking?
I
didn't know. I maybe I should have known this, but I didn't know FOCO was a sponsor. I like FOCO.
Well, FOCO's fantastic. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Brandon Sanders, when we had him on the show, told me that he got his straw hat from FOCO. And Brandon Sanders is one of those people you do not want to question, you do not want to mess with. Mm-hmm. As our good pal, who's the guy at the Republic that said, "Do you know who I
am?" He's that awful writer. Oh, damn it. Someone knows it. Who's that awful writer at the Greg Moore? Greg Moore.
Racism.
Greg Moore.
Greg Moore, yes. But Brandon Sanders was wearing the FOCO hat, and Brandon Sanders stood strong. It was very cool to see. We like Brandon Sanders a great deal on this show. FOCO, use code PHNX for 10% off. Another one of these ones where you will thank me later. Okay, now let's make fun of ASU. Jeff Sims. I do like Chris Cartman, who we had a friendly back and forth on Twitter. Chris Cartman from ASU is basically saying that, the reason that Jeff Sims wasn't good is because they didn't have an offense last year that placated to his, or that played to his strengths. And, and he was saying, you got to be able to run the ball with Jeff Sims, all of this stuff. Here's the deal. I've actually watched Jeff Sims. Sheer and I
text back and forth with live Jeff Sims updates.
I guarantee you that Sheer and I have watched more Jeff Sims live than any ASU fan out there. Seriously.
Yeah, no, 100%. No doubt about it.
You cannot put Jeff Sims in a run type situation either, because guess what he's going to do? He's going to fumble the ball nonstop.
I think he's a package quarterback, and you could find ways to get him on the field. Would I put him on the field in a tie game, fourth quarter, 5 minutes left? Absolutely not.
I don't see. I'm going to disagree with you there. I don't think he's a quarterback either, because he fumbles the ball. If he could hold on to the ball.
Yeah, but I mean, look at his best. Look at his best season, right? It was probably Georgia Tech. What 2000? Shit, it might be his freshman year. So let's go sophomore year, right? I'm looking at right now. 60% completion, 12 touchdowns, ran for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. You could get away with that.
How many fumbles? How many interceptions?
I don't know. I got to look that up.
That's a lot, because I do know for a fact.
Interceptions he has in his career, Mike. He has 31 touchdowns to 29 interceptions.
But you're also not factoring in the fumbles.
I'll look that up. He has been sacked. Holy moly. He's been sacked 56 times in his career.
And look at the fumbles again. I know that
I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking it up right now for you.
He led the nation in turnovers at Georgia Tech as well.
I'm a man of the people. Hold on. I'm looking it up. Fumbles. You ready?
Right.
Wait, hold on. This is wrong. This has defensive fumbles. I don't want that.
Well, I'm sure he fumbled on that side of the ball as well.
Hold on. They don't have it? How do they not have this?
I trust me when I tell you, people look it up for me. Trust me when I tell you, though, that he fumbled the ball. He is fumbled.
How many career fumbles?
Somebody put on there, he said last year, I'll give you the stat while Skier looks this up. Last year, Jeff Sims had 1 passing touchdown to 12 turnovers. That's impressive work for only 28 possessions.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think Shear's going to be able to find it. Shear technologically sucks. He's always sucked technologically.
Yeah, 12. So he had 5 fumbles last season. I think, I don't know.
All right. Either way.
This is a great stat, though. On 28 total drives over 4 games, Sims directly accounted for 12 turnovers, 5 fumbles, 6 interceptions. That means he had a 39.3% turnover rate.
All right. I told Dilly this as well. I said, if you turn Jeff Sims into a good quarterback, I will publicly apologize to you. Dilly, I do not expect to be making that apology to you.
All right, I got it. He has 21 fumbles in his career.
I mean, that's a lot. 21.
But he's only lost 12 of them.
All right.
He's only lost 12 fumbles in 4 years, an average of 3 fumbles a year.
Somebody asked me this on Twitter the other day. He said, would you rather have Gunnar Cruz or Jeff Sims? Gunnar Cruz. Because Gunnar Cruz will not.
No.
Gunnar Cruz won't turn the ball over. He won't do anything, but he's not going to turn the ball over.
Gunnar Cruz is like a CIA agent now somewhere, by the way.
Oh, by the way, Ryan Neal, the great Ryan Neal, 29 interceptions and 12 lost fumbles, my friends. Very, very good. Yes. Oh, Big 12 Bobby. Jeff Sims has more turnovers than Del Tacos in the hood. Yes.
Oh, come on.
Hey, TJ Van Martyr, this is an interesting one. He said that Totri thinks Sims is better than Fita. That's a good question. Maybe he has a higher upside, perhaps.
Have Totri rank Noah Fita, Jaden Rashada, and Jeff Sims right now.
That's all we need. That is actually a very, very good question for Mr. Anthony Totri. Okay, now.
But I said this before to you, right? It is people aren't paying attention to the right issue. It's not that Jeff Sims might play. It's that the other quarterback they brought in isn't better than Jeff Sims.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. But
it's like the problem Arizona had with like Gunnar and Will Plummer. It wasn't the fact that either of those guys were playing. It was the fact that those guys were the best options on the roster.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's the problem. And again, I disagree with Dilly. I do not see these guys being Sunday quarterbacks. I wish that he would take that back because that was not a good one. That was not a good one. All right. Now let's see here. Are any of the QBs from 2021? Oh, Brayden Dorman. Listen, I'm not doing a my bad Brayden Dorman thing, anything like that yet, but Brayden Dorman is clearly your backup quarterback at this point. Sheer probably shouldn't have been rated as highly as he was in high school, but he has not been bad. He has actually been, I think, better than expected this camp.
Yeah, it's a little mechanical, but he doesn't make a lot of errors. I think that Cole Tenenbaum is right there too for the backup quarterback. I think it's Cole and Dorman.
Cole Tannenbaum's the man. Cole Tannenbaum is one of those. By the way, Cole Tannenbaum, he was the one that launched that. He launched like 80-yard touchdown to our guy AJ Jones. Shout out Tony Jones.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very legit. I mean, it is close. It's not. It's still a competition. I think Dorman winds up winning it, but it's a competition.
Zona Tucson 93. Do you want to handle this one, Sheer?
Why is Polito not playing this year? Personal issues.
Yep. But we are going to say this. He's a very good kid.
I hope he plays football again.
Hope he plays football again. Hope he's happy. That's all we really want to. That's all we really want out of all of this. Okay. Now, before we sign off, there's no better time to become a PHNX diehard. You all know this. Now, Jacob Franklin, please pull this up on the screen. Make sure this was ready. And let's see. All right. Well, All right. Die Hard membership, free t-shirt of your choice from the locker, access to all our premium written account, entrance to the Discord lounge, discounts on all events, access maybe to even more Jacob Franklin, who knows, and all kinds of really good stuff. Check it out. Become a Die Hard today. Now, before we let Sheer plug himself. Oh, that sounds terrible. Yes. Let's see here. Braulio Flores says, I was listening to Locked On College Football recently. What's up with the national reporters say, are we not doing anything? They're wrong.
Because they don't pay attention. They just, that's like, and to be fair, 24/7 national guys like Arizona, because I've done my job there. But yeah, Arizona's going to be ranked 20 to 23 in the AP poll. That's my guess.
All right. Again, I still think it's 5 or 6 spots too less. I don't care. People can take that any way they want. Let's see here. Big 12 Bobby says, great show, gents. I'm feeling the new time. Keep it at 2. We will not keep it at 2. I like the earlier time, but we will have it for this month. Okay. Now, Sheer, where can they find you doing your work?
WildcatAuthority.com and the Wildcat Scoop podcast with Shelby.
All right. Now, tomorrow, we're going to be talking a lot about, I agree with you, Gringo Billy. That is where I'm at. Now, tomorrow we're going to talk about the Polynesian factor on this team. There are many, many good Polynesians. Oh, by the way, think about it this way. I thought about this. I just came up with this. Arizona's got so many good Polys on the team. You've got Noah Fafita. You got T-Mac. You've got Jonas Avenea. You got Wendell Moy. You got Rhino. On the other side, you got Tai. You've got Jacob Manu. Bunch of different guys. Did Kevin Sumlin recruit one Poly during his time here?
I'm sure there's one.
But
I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. P-Drac 16 says, what away game should we go to this year? Go to the Kansas State game. Sheer and I will be at that one. We will be there signing autographs. Sheer, you're going, correct? This is true.
Absolutely. Where am I going? Yes.
Kansas State, Manhattan, baby. That's where it's at. Hey, you want to give a shout out to somebody that gave you some travel advice on that?
Yeah, my boy Dilly. Dilly hit me up and told me what airport to fly into and all that.
Good stuff. All right, everybody. Someone was into a different Poly like Big 12 Bobby. That was
funny. That was good.
That was very, very funny. Okay. On that note, though, for Jason Sheer, the venerable one, for the untrustworthy yet still great Jacob Franklin, I am merely Mike Luke. We will be back with you tomorrow. You guys are all fantastic. Bear down, back the A, TTFN, ta-ta for now.
We all silly like the mayor.